What's up, everybody? We are live in the headquarters of Book It Better. My name is Max Whitman. If this is your first time joining, welcome. If this is not your first time joining, welcome back. It's a new year here at TEW. Happy New Year. Happy TEW New Year. We are done with 1994. We've rolled on into 1995. Chris Jericho, still our world champion. Successful title defense against Tatanka. In large part thanks to Chris Candido. The debuting Chris Candido getting the assist at In Your House. Shawn Michaels retaining the title as well against Razor and Diesel. We got a lot to find out today on Monday Night Raw. We are at our Fallout show. We are in... I don't know where we are. I'll have to wait till I open up the show. But I think we're at the TD Bank Arena in Boston, I believe. But we are Week 1. Week 1, 1995. Week 1, January 1995. This is our first episode of Monday Night Raw of the new year. It is our Fallout show. From In Your House, December of 94. Shawn Michaels retaining his Intercontinental title, thanks to assistance from Bam Bam Bigelow. Chris Jericho retains his title, as we mentioned earlier. Yokozuna and Crush remain the tag team champions, so no title changes. No title changes at all. The Hart Foundation does score a victory over the Dog Pound. Well, let's jump into our show here. Hopefully we got some good feedback from the entrances that we posted up there for In Your House. I'm trying to add a little bit more production value. We got our music here. Now we got the entrances. That last week one, In Your House, was a little bit rough. The entrances kind of went from WWE 2K to TEW. I didn't like the way it flowed. But I do like having the entrances in there for big matches. So that's something that we'll probably start doing from now on for our pay-per-views. Our main matches in the pay-per-views. Not every match is going to get it. I do actually have most of our TEW guys, most of our roster, I do have on 2K19. I have most of them downloaded from the proper era. I did notice I have to edit Chris Jericho a little bit, get him. That's the 2000 version of Jericho. I gotta edit I'll edit the ring gear, the attire a little bit, and his entrance just a bit to kind of get him more on track with where he was in 94. Some of that stuff's not, Shawn Michaels as well, that's the 97 version, so some of that stuff is a little bit off, but I think it adds a little bit, I like it. I like being able to have a visual entrance for the bigger matches, so we'll get that working on. We'll be working on that before Royal Rumble. Hopefully we can have our transitions go a little bit smoother, but it's all a work in progress. But let's jump in. For now, let's jump into Monday Night Raw. We're going to open with our In Your House recap. So obviously, if you didn't see In Your House, go back and watch it now. But if you didn't watch it and you want the recap, Shawn Michaels, in the main event, Shawn Michaels successfully defends his Intercontinental title due to interference from Bam Bam Bigelow. So Bigelow runs in, distracts Razor Ramon. Razor turns him back around, catches the Sweet Chin music. Michaels pins him for the 1, 2, 3. So that kind of furthering the Bam Bam Razor storyline a little bit. In our semi-main event, our world title match, Chris Jericho successfully defends the title against Tatanka after Chris Candido runs in and distracts Tatanka. I do want to note that Tatanka had some momentum going in that match, but there was never a point where he really looked like he had Jericho on the ropes, right? So I just want to point out there that it wasn't that Tatanka had the match won and Candido interfered. Candido interfered, but it was looking like Jericho probably would have won that match anyway. So I do want to, just from a kayfabe, since you can't really see the match, I got to kind of specify that it wasn't like Jericho had his back against the wall. Tatanka was putting up a good fight. It was a back-and-forth match. But it would have appeared that even without the assistance from Candido, Jericho looked good in the match. Came across looking good. Yokozuna and Crush retain their title. And the Hart Foundation defeats the Dog Pound. So that is the end of that storyline. The Dog Pound and the Hart Foundation disappointed in it. It wasn't a terrible storyline, but I really wanted the Steiners versus the Harts. But poor old Scott just couldn't get himself out of rehab. But we will get that storyline eventually. I will come back to that. The match scores an 88. Opening segment scores an 88. Good, solid segment to open the show. Looks like Razor and Bam Bam gained heat. Tag storylines gained heat. But everything else kind of basically stayed the same. So we'll move on to our next segment. We get Shawn Michaels and Diesel. This one scores another 100. HBK and Diesel storyline advances. Scores a 100. It's an A+. Let me explain what's going on here. So HBK is out to open the show, and he's cutting a promo saying that he has proved once and for all that he is not a scrub. He retained his Intercontinental title, and is excited to be moving on from this period, from this interactions with Razor and Diesel, and he's looking forward to facing his next challenger. At that, Diesel's music hits, and out comes Diesel, and he says enough is enough with this garbage. At the Royal Rumble, he wants a one-on-one match, once and for all. He lost the title in a three-way match, never got his singles rematch. He wants it at the Royal Rumble. He'll give Shawn 1 week to say yes before he handles that on his own. So Shawn looks a little bit unsure in the ring. Diesel walks away. This is about an 8-minute segment. And it scores 100, man. These two guys are money. I'm really looking forward to that Royal Rumble match. If it happens, of course. So Shawn has a 1-week ultimatum. He's got 1 week to accept the challenge before Diesel takes matters into his own hands. Next segment. The Hardy Boys versus Well Done. It's just your basic tag team, middle-of-the-road match here. The Hardys score 52 and a 49. Well Done a 49 and a 47. So the Hardys are really they're learning quickly. They're improving quickly. They're both sitting at around 40 popularity right now. So their growth potential is huge. Jeff Hardy still just 17 years old. So a 40 popularity at just 17 years old. We talk about Chris Jericho being the youngest world champion in history. I mean, at 23, Jeff Hardy is still 6 years younger and is already at a 40 popularity. So there's a possibility. Keep an eye on Jeff Hardy here. Matt as well. Matt's only 20. Obviously, they're tag teamers. They're not singles wrestlers. But Jericho was a tag teamer when I brought him in also. But not singles wrestlers. But something to keep an eye on there, just in terms of growth potential. These the Hardy Boys. I didn't even really try and push him all that hard. I think what got Jeff over really was the Sparkplug storyline that we did is just kind of a joke with Sparkplug teaching Jeff how to drive. But it's gotten them over, and they're at a point now where they can actually be on the main show here and pull a 56. Not a terrible rating. It's not a great rating, but it's not terrible. As they build some momentum to possibly becoming an upper-level tag team. So we'll move on to our next segment. It's a 69 rated segment with Jerry Lawler. This one actually not quite as good as I'd hoped, but it does still gain heat for that storyline, so it's not terrible. This is our number 4 storyline, essentially. What's going to happen here is Jerry the King is cutting a promo backstage on Tatanka. And he says that it's a good thing Chris Candido was there, because Tatanka was clearly going to cheat again and steal the WWF title. He says he needed an extra set of eyes, and Chris is that extra set of eyes. So Jerry Lawler answering the question, why did Chris Candido interfere in the match? What was his business there? We get an answer to the question. Jerry Lawler bringing in Chris Candido as his extra set of eyes, and sending him out in his absence to, quote, make sure that Tatanka didn't cheat to win the world title. I would have liked to have seen one more point here, get us over that 70 mark, but I'll take a 69, I'll take a C+. We'll move into our next match. It's the 1-2-3 Kid versus Scorpio Jr. This is going to be a weak episode of Raw, I think. It scores a 57. The 1-2-3 Kid picks up the win. when he defeats Scorpio in 10 minutes by pinfall after the moonsault. So again, this is just a mid-card match, and honestly, it's a mid-carder versus a upper mid-card versus an enhancement talent, essentially. But it gets a decent rating here. 1, 2, 3 Kid is 60. It's not great. It's a 57 overall. It's not terrible. You know, but this kind of just goes. I've been the last couple episodes of Raw. I've had some of the the lighter weight guys kind of trying to get some time in against each other. That's really been what the focus has been on superstars, and I don't televise superstars. Rather, I don't post superstars, but that's kind of what I've been doing on superstars is getting some of these lightweight guys in. If you watched our creative meeting, you know why. Obviously at this point now we've had some cruiserweights and lightweight guys on the show quite frequently. We're considering bringing in a light heavyweight division, so we're kind of testing guys out, but that's way down the road. I mean, we're talking 6-7 months from now, maybe by SummerSlam, we're looking to roll that out. We're taking our time with it, just trying to bring in some global talent, and see what we can come up with. But it gets a 57 here, not a terrible rating. We get our next promo. This one scores a 94, so this one's fantastic. And basically what's going to happen here is Jericho's cutting a promo, and he says he doesn't know why Candido was there. He had nothing to do with it. But it wouldn't have mattered anyway, because he is the best wrestler in the world, and Tatanka never had a chance. So Jericho's saying that regardless, he doesn't know why Candido was there. He doesn't have beef with Tatanka. He doesn't have any kind of relationship with Jerry the King or with Candido. He had nothing to do with it. But it wouldn't have mattered anyway, because basically saying that he's the best in the world, and Tatanka never stood a chance. And at this, the lights go out. We get our gong, and the Undertaker's music hits. We get a screen cut to him. He's not in the arena. He's standing in a graveyard. And he tells Y2J that in 4 weeks, this dream run that he's on will become his nightmare. We get the crack of thunder and the lightning, the lights, the video feed cuts out, the lights come back on, and Jericho standing in the ring looking significantly less comfortable than he was a mere 30 seconds ago. And we head to our main event here. It's Owen Hart versus Shawn Morley. It scores a 76. Not a bad, a good solid match. About what I expected. I kind of expected this Raw to be a little bit weaker. I had some goals that I wanted to get in. I wanted to get some of the younger guys in there. I just kind of wanted to recap the In Your House. So I kind of figured this would be a weaker episode. It's going to be a very weak episode, I think. I bet you we score in the high 60s, maybe a low 70. But Owen Hart has an 84, Shawn Morley a 44. Owen made Shawn Morley look particularly strong, so that's a good thing. By the way, we are at the TD Garden, in front of 18,260 people. So I was right earlier on. And that's going to do it for our show. So Owen Hart, it's a standard singles match. Owen gets the victory over Shawn Morley. And we are, let's see, Owen Hart kindly used his superior skills to make Shawn Morley look particularly strong. The match was better as a result. I appreciate that. Thank you, Owen Hart. You're a man's man. Wow, we actually scored an 81. Wow, okay. Increases our popularity in 12 regions. God, the HBK Diesel feud is just... You know what it is? It's the HBK Diesel feud, and it's the Jericho Taker. The 94 and the 100 really picked us up. Because other than that... Well, you know what? I forgot about the video recap. So we had three really strong angles here. And then a decently strong main event. So we get an 81. I'm happy with that. If we could live at 80 for Monday Night Raw, I'm okay with that. So there we go. That's what we got. That's going to do it for our show today. This one ran a little bit longer than I expected it to run, about 14 and a half minutes. But I appreciate you guys sitting down with me. I had a great time. It's always a pleasure, as always, to sit down with you. If you enjoyed the show, go ahead, click subscribe, give me a thumbs up, give me a like if you haven't already. And come on back next time. I'll be right here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for your listening pleasure. You have a wonderful afternoon. I know I will. Thanks for stopping by. Join me next time. I see you when I see you.